in podcast recordings today. Matt, are you there, sir?
I am here.
Okay.
You froze on me, but you came
Yes,
back right
early.
in time. Good to see
I
you,
am.
buddy.
Good to see you too. I'm back. I think we were off last week. My weeks are kind of running into each other. I'm on second spring break, which I mean sounds miserable. I get it, but Matt, I am here in Cherry Grove, North Carolina. I am just north of Myrtle Beach. Right? There's Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, and then Cherry Grove. And where I am at the northernmost point you can get basically on Myrtle Beach for North Carolina. Okay.
Okay.
And South Carolina is not a legal sports wagering state. North Carolina is about 20 minutes away. I have to drive back up like inland and go make a right and go north a little bit. And I told my wife the other day, it's like, hey, hon, I'm in a grocery store run. I might drive over the border to make some wagers. And there were draft wagers. We can talk about some of those draft wagers in a second here. And she said to me, do you gamble every day? I said, yes,
Yes,
I
those are the
do.
rules.
So I've driven twice in North Carolina to place draft wagers this past. I have offshores that I've been using for like daily sports, but I am committed to now. To be fair, there's a grocery store near the border, so I'm getting two things done at once: grocery store, and then I happen to have to U-turn by going into North Carolina for a second, stopping at CVS across the border, making sure my phone knows I'm in North Carolina, and hammering some draft wagers. I think you'd appreciate that commitment to getting the best number.
I do, man. That's great. And I think one thing I've learned since California is not a legal betting state, and anytime you put money in an offshore, it's just goodbye. Like even if you win
Yes,
100 bets in a row, it's just you'll
never
never see
getting
it
it.
again. So I
Correct.
decided I'm not doing that anymore. So I just have my like network of friends who are willing to put in a bet for me, like in New York or whatever. And like none of the markets have draft odds. Like New York doesn't have it. I don't think Connecticut has it. New Jersey, I don't think has it. Maryland does. This
Yeah, a
is
lot don't. Yeah, so like I do the Bear Bets podcast with Chris Felica. They have Connecticut has a weird thing with college sports. He drives to Massachusetts or something to place wagers. Like
we're living the
like
gimmick out here, bro.
yeah, and like he once, how about this? He was in LA for like a week or two. He flew to Arizona just to place wagers in Phoenix and then fly back to Los Angeles. Just like he was like a he had like a day off. It was work. I think it was during World Cup. He was in LA for a month for Fox, and he just flew to LA on Arizona on an off day to place a bunch of NFL futures, and then drive
Wow.
flew back. I mean, they're real committed to this. Obviously, I work with Bill Krackomberger on the radio, professional sports handicapper. I mean, he flies to all over the country to place wagers at casinos because he's limited other ones. So he wants to go all over the country to make the wagers he's got to make for certain things. So people get deep into it. I'm not
Wow.
that deep. I drove 20 minutes to North Carolina to make some. I think you'd be proud of me. Last thing before we get to NFL. Obviously, the economy, tariffs, inflation, not great, as we know, Matt, and our political podcast will come out one day, but nonetheless, I have found a meal that I think is tariff proof, recession proof. Last night, I took my kids to hibachi, okay, here in North Myrtle Beach. And the amount of food that my kids got for their kids meal, Matt, was astonishing. It was like $10 for a kids meal. They got a ribeye steak, okay, and then
Wow.
like a heaping mound of rice. Now the noodles were extra, $4 extra. So I got noodles as well. Um,
Fine.
I think that is like recession proof. I'll tell you. Lastly, here, so we were in Mexico last week. I know, again, thoughts and prayers for my travel schedule. But one of the restaurants at the resort we were at had one hibachi station. Okay. So we asked one night, can we do the hibachi station? We were told, like, yes. So we show up and it wasn't booked for the hibachi station. My son was devastated. Okay. Now, I didn't know like hibachi this much. So last night was his night. Like, he wanted hibachi. He's been asking for days. Can we go? Can we go? He was so happy to get hibachi. I've never seen a kid happier to have steak and rice, which I can make at home just fine, done for him professionally with a lot of butter and oil because it always makes it better. So I think I found a recession-proof restaurant, which is hibachi.
I love that. And didn't occur to me, but like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think that you can't put a price on pageantry. You know what I mean? Like you can get the entertainment is why you're there, and you can't put a tariff on that. No, sir. So I will say when when I moved here to Santa Monica, I think it was my first like birthday I had here. Ivy was like, "Where do you want to go to dinner?" And like without even blinking, I was like, "Benihana." There's a Benihana on like Fifth and like Colorado or something maybe. And yeah, I went. It was insane. They have like the punch bowls. They I mean, anytime you can get like an onion volcano and a Mai Tai for $16, like sign me up, brother. Like how long can I stay?
All right. I think we should talk football. I guess. I don't know. We took the draft, Matt. Next week on Thursday and Friday, I will be with your friend Nick Wright on first. So make
Oh,
sure to check
great.
that out. And I think we forgot to mention this at the top. I know we did on third version try this today with some tech issues. Our mock draft extravaganza for this show, just for smarter than you,
Mm.
will be next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be me, you. Gabe is going to be there, I believe. Is
Yep.
Hank the fourth? Is
Hank
Hank in?
Hank is
He's
the
the fourth.
fourth. Yep. So if Mr. Groberg's still
Nice.
listening, that's good news for him. But yeah, Hank will be there. I did not even entertain the idea that he would get the commander's pick. I will have the commander's pick. But yeah, he'll
Who
be
sets
there.
the
It'll be a
board?
great time.
Who sets the board? He does or you do?
If he's involved, he's going to be doing all the work. So he will probably do that. But it's scripted as so you get the Chiefs and I get the Commanders. And then I think I forget Hank had some desire to have some team for some silly bit he has planned. So
Probably
it'll
some
be fun.
Texas. He wants like someone to drop Quinn Ewers, a trade back
Yeah,
up Quinn Ewers,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. Matthew
So
Golden, number five.
Oh, geez. As we approach the draft, as we mentioned, 6 days away, Matt, we're hearing things, we're seeing things happen with the draft markets for sports wagering, where it does feel like 1 through 5 is pretty set. Cam Ward, uh, in a one bedroom, the toilet just flushed like 3 feet from me. We're in a one bedroom condo, and the toilet just, I'm literally like in the bedroom, the toilet's right here. Someone just flushed the toilet on me. Hopefully, you didn't hear that. That was very funny. Uh,
Tough beat for Titans fans who hear
uh,
Cam Ward and get the
yeah.
toilet flush. Really tough beat
Uh,
there.
Cam Ward one. Two is Travis Hunter. Three, Abdul Carter. Four, Will Campbell. And five, and this is where a little bit of a wrench seems to be thrown in there. Mason Graham, even though there seems to be maybe some Ascendenti steam for him to be picked fifth overall. Out of those five picks, Matt, what do you think could be a little bit, kind of raise your antenna that could change quickly?
I mean, I don't buy that this is just all a foregone conclusion. It does seem to happen like this every couple of years where they're like, okay, like here are the picks. This is the order. This is what's going to happen. I don't totally buy it. I think we've got to lock at number one. And then I think somewhere two or three, there's going to be one of those like it's going to come down to the last 3 seconds. And is it going to be somebody trading up to get Shadur? Is it going to be the Browns deciding to field as many offers as they can and then ultimately settling and taking Hunter, which seems to be what they're telegraphing for I don't exactly know why. I thought it was interesting that the Giants made a big deal out of like, well, if we get Travis Hunter, he'll play both sides. Like, it seems like they were kind of hoping that he could fall to them, which I thought was interesting, which could be another reason why the Browns are sort of trying to like, see the feelers out there. But I just don't think that it's going to be, the exact order that you said, even though the betting odds all reflect it, and even though that's what everyone seems to think. I just think there's going to be some chicanery, and there's going to be somebody who either moves up, maybe New England. I like if New England stays at three and Carter is there, like, or I'm sorry, at four, like, is that what they're happy with? It's something like would they want to move down maybe so someone else could come up and get Shadura? I just don't buy that this is a set order yet. To you?
Well, we got to think about how this would be different, right? So number two, it does not feel like they're going Shadur Sanders, right? Which I thought for a long time they would do.
Yeah, me
So
too.
Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. If you're the Browns, you look at Travis Hunter, and he said he's going to retire rather than play one side of the ball only. Well, but you
Very
don't have a
odd.
choice. You'll play what they tell you to play. And I want to reiterate this. Okay, so in a college playbook, let's say is an inch thick. If it's a paper playbook, right, an inch thick. NFL playbook is like three times that size, right? Okay. Now they're on iPads now, so it's not the same. But imagine if you're Travis Hunter having to learn, two separate playbooks of that many plays in the NFL. In college, what he did was play cornerback and then have a package of wide receiver plays. Because you saw that because he didn't move very much. He stayed on one side of the field for a given game. He didn't have a big route tree. He was good at what he did. He was incredible. He won the Heisman. And you think about like how's that work in the NFL? Well, Matt, is it easier to play corner full time and then get some wide receiver reps, or wide receiver full time get corner reps? You can't do both. It's easier to be corner and play wide receiver, or just play wide receiver full time. Like those are the options, right? Wide receiver full time or cornerback and then some package of offensive plays. So I think the Browns look at it and say, do more with him. Maybe you want him to be a corner. They want to be a wide receiver. We already have a pattern, that foot injury. So let's go Hunter two. The Giants at three, right? Are they going Sanders? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And when you say trade up and trade down, you have to think about who's trading up, right? So I'll get to my thought about who's going to trade up in a second. But so Giants are going to go Carter at three, I would imagine. And then four would be an offensive lineman, probably Will Campbell. And then five, I think it'll be Mason Graham. Look, um, let's do the Genty thing now, man. I'm curious about your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
So, young general manager with Jacksonville, young general manager with the Raiders, young general manager ish with the Bears. Those are the three teams that are sort of Ashton Genty target, right? 5, 6, 10. I don't think they're going to draft Ashton Genty. Like,
Hmm.
you look at the Raiders, okay? Jacksonville would be silly to do that. They have so many holes. The Raiders, okay? Their them to draft an offensive line was 8-1 2 days ago. It's down to 3-1 now because their general manager came out and said, like, we're going to basically build inside out type of comment. But what good is the running back, Matt, if you can't block for him? Like, what good is Genty if you can't block for him? And you got to look at the way that this whole draft pairs out, right? Your decision you make in the first round is affected by the decision you might make in the second, third, fourth, and fifth round, right? If you're the Raiders, does taking Membu to be right tackle and then like Caleb Johnson in the second round, is that better than Ashton Genty and some other offensive lineman who's not ready to play football right away? It's not a
Hmm.
heavy offensive tackle class. So I don't know, six, I think Membu, he's 5-1 to go sixth pick overall, by the way. Plus 550, 5.5-1. And then at 10 with the Bears. I don't know. Ryan Poles seems very dedicated to building inside out, right? Names I mentioned with like defensive tackle, defensive end, somewhere like that. I think Genty might jump out of the top 10. Is that too crazy to think?
No, I think this is a great take. I think I disagree. I think maybe, well, first of all, I think that you've sort of been a long documented devalue the running back position. I think I've mostly been with you, and then I think last year seeing what Saquon can do, and also the nuance of like, hey, he wouldn't have done the same thing with the Giants. Like, let's be real, but running backs can really change the sort of like the ceiling of your team. I could see the Raiders like it depends what the how close the Raiders think they are. And I hear you. Like, I think if they're saying like, hey, we have a chance at getting who we think is the best tackle in the draft in Membu, which if that's what they think, like, I think you're probably right. And they should likely do that. But if the Bears are sort of like, hey, we have a shot at maybe I don't know, like a Kelvin Banks or like maybe it's somebody else like that they really think is good, or they have by far the best player at the position in the draft. Like I think Genty is so good. Like he is head and shoulders above the rest of the group. Like I think if you're the Bears and you're as good as you think you probably are, adding that sort of like top tier weapon might be
Yeah.
too attractive to pass up. And obviously, Ben Johnson was in the room when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. That's not an original thought, but like, I do think that they could look at him and just say, like, this is a franchise changing guy. We're on a rookie window with Caleb. We already addressed the offensive line a good bit in free agency. I can't imagine he slides past 10, especially, but like if the Saquon season didn't happen, maybe. But I think now everyone's sort of
Sure.
like zagging the other way. And I think somebody might end up reaching as a result for a Hampton. Like I'm hoping that the Commanders can get a guy like Henderson out of Ohio State in the second round, late in the draft. I don't think he'll be there. Like I have a feeling there's going to be three or four running backs that are taken, in the top
Well,
35.
It's 2.5 for the first round juice. So this is the thing about the over-unders, right? So under 2.5 would be one or two running backs drafted. No, the other way around, right? Under would be three or more. Over would be one or two.
No,
Yes.
I don't think so. I think that's only on the draft order or like first selected, right? Like over 2.5 running backs selected in
Oh,
round
you're
one
right.
would
Right.
be,
I messed
yeah,
that up. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's for draft slot. Like if I'm saying
right.
Sam drafted 8.5, it's opposite in your brain. You're right. I'm sorry. I messed that up.
No,
Scratch all that. You're right.
you're
Yes.
but what you're saying is Ashton Genty going to go under pick 10 and a half?
Yes.
Like that's a
Yes.
good
Yeah.
bet. And
Yes. Yeah.
if that was an option, I would say
I think it's
100%.
like nine. I think it's like 9.5. You said 9.5. Um,
Interesting.
I do think the Bears will end up taking him if he's there at 10, but it is worth noting that they might not. And then he goes to 12 to Cowboys, I feel like automatically. You mentioned running
Yeah.
back. It's interesting, Matt. The number one mocked player is Cam Ward to the Titans. I think number two is Hampton, the running back from North Carolina to the Broncos. That feels like the
Huh.
number one other mock, second mock player. Like every mock draft has Hampton going to the Broncos. All right. The other interesting part
Interesting.
about the top of the draft, Matt, is if Sanders doesn't go two or three, he might not go till 21. So let's talk about this,
So
right?
interesting. Yeah.
Right? Because once you get past two and three, the teams that may need a quarterback, nine with New Orleans, and they're adamant, the people that follow this, they're not drafting a quarterback, like super adamant, right, Matt? And then
Are
not until
they?
21. And yeah, the Saints beat writers, I swear they're not drafting a quarterback. So that's what they say. Um, I took, by the way, speaking about draft wagers, man, I took the Saints to draft a tight end like 12-1 yesterday. I
Huh.
was like, what? They need, and a quarterback was 9-1. If they don't draft a quarterback, they're drafting a corner or a tight end. I thought those were great numbers, by the way. So I
Really
went ahead
good.
and snagged those. Yeah. Yeah. Like I took Raiders, yeah, Trey Raiders offensive lineman. Yeah. Position of tight end is 9-1, sorry, for the Saints. All right. So nonetheless, is Pittsburgh going to trade to 8 for Shedeur Sanders? Is the
I don't see
question.
it. I wouldn't if I were them. I
I
don't
don't
th
I don't think they are, but are they going to wait till 21 and hope he's there?
that's a really interesting subplot. And I'm trying to figure out who the surprise team could be. Like, who's the Penix team that could just take a quarterback out of nowhere? Like, are we sure that at 14 the Colts wouldn't pull the trigger on Sanders? Like, I think that would be an interesting one. Maybe
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because I will bring this. Oh, my phone just crap out. It's funny. This is a wager I made yesterday, Matt. You ready?
let's
Uh,
hear.
Team to draft Shedeur Sanders, Colts plus 5,000.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I made that
Why
bet yesterday.
not?
Yeah, I bet $50. I'll win 2,000, 2,500 if it hits.
That would be a
So
pretty nice hit.
yeah, I actually, when I get done with this, I'm going home, and tonight I'm writing down all my draft wagers. I do not know how many I have, and I would like to make some money, and I can do that if I end up figuring out exactly what numbers I have on these draft slots. Oh yeah, if you write them down. Yeah, I mean Sanders at 14 is certainly interesting, right? With the Colts, maybe both tight ends are gone, and they look at they have Richards, but see. You get Richard and Jones, right? Like, do you really want to? I don't know. That feels
You
like a
don't have a
lot.
quarterback. Like if those are your two options, I'm not saying that they necessarily it's a lock, but like they're a team that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And I don't know, like would the Cardinals think about it? It depends. It's so interesting with Sanders because he's not. Last year it was all these quarterbacks that people like, even Knicks, I don't think people thought he was going to be as good as he was, but I think people thought he was like pretty safe. It's like he'll probably give you like a couple good years. I think people were a little worried about Penix's health, but there was no question that that guy was good. Like those guys who went in the first round all had some sort of like high floor. But with Sanders, I feel like people can't tell if he's even like I think they like his accuracy and his toughness and kind of nothing else. And that's very unusual for a guy who's this hyped. So, when you hear about guys like Jackson Dart and the Louisville quarterback who apparently like some teams are really into, like maybe there's just going to be a surprise and Sanders won't end up
Yeah.
going second, and some team is going to really like Dart or really like I forget the guy's is it
Yeah.
Tyler? What is his name? The kid from
I was
Louisville?
shocked.
Yeah, so like maybe some team is going to like love him instead. Um, but don't discount the value of quarterbacks. Like I think that this year people are so down on the class, but if you've got a need, like if you are a believer in one of these quarterbacks,
Yeah.
if you're the Colts, even if you're like the Dolphins, I think you got to think about it. If you're the Cardinals, like any of these
Yeah.
teams sort of in the teens, if
Yeah.
there's not somebody blowing you away, it's a deep draft. Like maybe you take your swing at your quarterback in round one, you get him for 5 years, and you sort of figure it out.
Yeah, I just don't know if Sanders is good enough to take that flyer on. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's why I think the teams might pass on it. By the way, I just found Shadur Sanders to go to the Colts at 6,500 on FanDuel. I might actually buy out of my other one to take this one.
Interesting.
I think I'll
Huh.
probably get like I'll get normally this one app on BetMGM will let me just cash out for the price I paid for it.
Interesting. That's a good
Otherwise,
deal.
I'm not cashing out for losing money on
No.
this either. Um,
You're not waving the white flag already. I
so
will say, Jeff, that I do think that this year, both of our teams were, I can't believe my Commanders are picking 29th. I do feel like having a later first round pick this year, it's a nice time for that because it does feel like the top of the draft, no one's really excited about. And then you look down at sort of like those prospects that are in like the 20th range, that sort of 20 to 40 range. And
yeah,
there's some really interesting pass rushers. There's some really interesting guys in the secondary. There's a lot of interior linemen. There's just like a lot of interesting guys who I think are going to go in round one and then potentially into round two. There's going to be some like weird surprises. Like, where is like Luther Burden going to go? Some people have him in like round two. He could go in the top 15. There's, obviously Dart and Sanders. Like there's so many
yeah.
interesting guys that are going to go. It's going to be very different from last year, I feel like.
So the Commanders right now, I see the leader is defensive line edge, offensive lineman is plus 340, and then cornerback and then wide receiver. So basically, defensive line edge plus 165, then lineman and corner are tied at nearly 3.5 to 1. Do you think it's going to be defensive line?
I think if I were to make a bet, it would definitely be defensive line. I think the Kinlaw signing is sort of going under the radar for them because no one liked it, but so I think they have a plan on the edge, but I do think when you especially look at sort of who might be available around there, uh there's the kid from where's the guy that they really like? I think the kid from Boston College, I have no idea how to say his last name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think him and like Shamar Stewart's a guy who like didn't produce, but everyone really likes his tape. The kid from
Yeah,
UCLA, like there's all these guys that they've sort of been linked to, and I just feel like that could be sort of the missing piece for them defensively. I don't see them drafting a corner because they drafted one last year. He's great. They have four guys who are like actual corners.
yeah.
I could see them maybe taking a running back there if they loved one of them or somebody fell to them. But that doesn't feel like an Adam Peters move.
No,
But I do
no.
think that could be a
Running back
really
in
good.
second round, it's a deep running back draft. Second round feels good. Man, I'm looking at a lot of these teams right now for who they're going to draft, and like I'm gonna have to start when I get to North Carolina today, cross that border, start firing away. Um, and my wife just walked in the room and I just said that to make her, and she said she's now doing finger guns to mock me when she's firing away at gambling. So that's how my day's going.
Hi,
You having
Meredith.
fun? It's fun? Making fun of me? She's pew pew. Okay. Um, Matt, Chargers draft the wide receivers plus 600.
Huh.
Are we not what I just I I don't some of these numbers like about Arizona draft a quarterback is 30 300 to 1 plus 3,000 plus 30,000.
Interesting.
I put a little flyer on that. It's like that's too much, right?
Yeah,
$2,
probably. I
$5,
don't.
$5. I wonder what they would limit me to on that. I mean, there's so many wagers here that I think are because to your point, this is important, right? This draft after the top, there's six premium players, I feel like. I've been told, right? Maybe Cam Ward's included or not, maybe he's not, but it's Hunter, Carter, right? Campbell, Genty. I think Tyler Warren's one of them,
Yeah.
and Cam Ward. Like that's those six, right? I think those. Oh,
Mason
Mason Graham.
Graham. Yeah.
Mason. Like after that, I think it's just flavor. Like you might get to the Chargers, who are favored to draft an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle. You might get there, and all the D tackles you want are sort of gone, and Luther Burden or Golden is like right there staring
Yeah.
you.
Or Egbuka,
Yeah,
like
like
I
you're
could
just
see
like
that one.
right, like you're like what tight ends are gone, right? Loveland's gone. Maybe they want Kenneth Grant, which is a pairing with the Michigan thing here. But even
That's true.
okay, if you think both tight ends are gone, which I think they're both gone, I can get plus 120 for deep edge and plus 600 for wide receiver. I can play both of them, different unit sizes, and cover my butt. Like that's part of it too. You just can cover your butt on some of these. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I mean, it could be the election for me, just a bloodbath all around, no matter what. But you know, it's so these are so interesting, man. Like I find these markets fascinating, Matt, that they have them up, and I know they put them up in Vegas, but there's so many ways I think if it goes the way you think it's going to go to make money. If it doesn't, you're screwed. So that's why again, be smart. These are very small wagers for me. Half a unit is like the most to ever put on it. Maybe a quarter. Most of them are a quarter to less. Like the Arizona Cardinals one will be $10 probably. But if I make that wager, $5.
Yeah.
But it's worth just looking at these because they're pretty interesting. The running
Yeah.
back, by the way, over 2.5. Again, these are BetMGM numbers. They're different everywhere. So over 2.5 is plus 150.
In round
Under
one.
is 200. Yeah, round one.
Yeah. Okay. One
So really
that's
interesting.
interesting. I could definitely I doubt that one of these sort of later teams would take a running back unless they were completely sold on them. Um, I do feel like the Hampton to Denver thing makes a lot of sense, but Denver is like Denver either like really Sean Payton either like really telegraphs things or goes like completely off the radar. So I'm curious like what they think their team is. One team I think the most interesting sort of pivot point in this draft is probably going to be I think six through 10 are going to be fascinating. And you can throw the Niners in there at 11. Like the Raiders, they think they probably have their quarterback for the next couple of years. They have holes everywhere. They lost a ton of guys on defense who are actually pretty good for them, and they're going to have to potentially rebuild there. Like if I wouldn't be shocked to see them go defense there, but like what did the Jets do? Like what do they see themselves as? Do they see themselves as needing to like fully rebuild, or do they see themselves as like, hey, maybe maybe they were to do something goofy, like they were talking about trading Brees Hall and taking Genty there. Like that would be kind of strange. Like the Panthers, I could see them
Panthers
grabbing.
want to trade out in the worst way. I know that.
Yeah, I feel like all these teams do. I do you
Oh my
feel like
God.
the Panthers could maybe go be a surprise? Like I kind of, what if they took like, I kind of think they might be like a sneaky like golden team. Like if they were to just if they didn't like McMillan, like maybe they were to be a team that just said like, hey, we need somebody who can just open up this
Oh,
offense a little bit.
I think Jalen Walker makes sense there, the Georgia defensive end. But yeah, wide receiver wise, absolutely. What they could go offensive line too for the future. Mike Green. If the Panthers trade back, the possibility, I obviously with the Steelers, let's say, I mean, yeah, then you get 21, you have all these other options, obviously. I was looking at eighth overall pick. Jalen Walker's the favorite. Micaiah Williams, McMillan's plus 600. Who you said? You said Golden is 50 to 1 to be the
50 to
first.
1.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I just have a feeling I don't know. I think people are going to be a little bit scared of McMillan just based on all this like sort of pre-draft buzz about, his commitment to the game. Like I just think that somebody's going to get scared off, and that could be one of those guys that you're like, "Huh, he's still there," and it's like pick 25. He kind of has that feel to me. Could be wrong.
The other one too that I think is interesting is like the Bears at 10 man. Like what if Genty's gone? What are they doing?
What maybe one of the
Tyler
tight
Warren?
ends?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can I confess something?
Yeah.
I think the Bears might be really good next year. Like I really like what they did this offseason. I think they completely fell apart after the Hail Mary game, and they quit on Eberflus. They are a team that like if their quarterback play goes from like pretty despondent to solid, which is very, very reasonable to assume given Ben Johnson and just like Caleb's talent. They've improved the offensive line so much. The defense was already pretty good. If they were to get like a top tight ends or Genty, I think they could be like legitimately dangerous on offense. And they could
Yeah.
be a team like I've already bet them to win the NFC North. I think they could be a sneaky team in the NFC.
Yeah. Um, I haven't got to win totals yet, but I think that's a possibility if you think Caleb Williams is going to be good. Um, can I tell you something that about so quickly about draft odds that I think
Please.
is important? So you have to you have to shop, obviously. I'm just using one book right now, but the odds also, there's so many of them that they're not correlated. Let me give you an example. So to be a top 10 pick, okay? Um, where is it at right now? Where do I see Loveland? This is the no 10th overall pick. Okay, top 10 pick, right? Just to be top 10 pick. Loveland is the Michigan tight end, okay? He
Yep.
was plus 1,000 to be a top 10 pick, okay? Plus 1,000. But to be the seventh pick overall, he is plus 5,000. To be the ninth pick, like to New Orleans, he is in the same range. Um, would you just take him individually to be drafted seventh, ninth, or 10th
Hmm.
over one wager to be drafted in the top? He's not going six to the Raiders. It's not going five.
Yep.
Not going to the Panthers at eight. But when you take those individually, all three of them, just put 25 bucks on all three instead of putting 100 on the or 25 on the one to go in the top 10. Like those, that's the way you play the draft.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's every once in a while you get a direct hit and it can cancel out, six misses. Like if the Saints
Oh
drafted
yeah,
a corner, then you're
but if you
set
think
for the whole night.
like think about it. Let's say the Jets go Loveland, I mean a Warren at seven, okay? And like the Bears are sitting there, Genty's gone. You're sitting there, you don't really want an offensive lineman at 10. Even the Saints, I could see the Saints being like, we need a pass catcher. Like we need a tight end to help to pair with Jawan Johnson. Loveland can catch the ball. He's a good
Hmm.
player. So I can put a little sprinkle on three of those instead of one to cover basically three picks. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's the way I look at the draft. I try to find those instances where I can find a little bit of value like that.
Yeah, I think you have to view it as an uncertain
Oh yeah.
environment, and this is a better way to do it. Like I tend to like get these hunches and say like, yeah, I think Washington's going to draft an edge rusher. Like that's a good play. But it's better to instead like find these very specific little darts, like have that
Yes.
like instead of betting plus 165, like bet on them to take like four guys at plus,
Correct.
1,500 and you'll probably hit one of them. And if not, then you lost what you would have lost anyway. Like it's fine.
Right. Like that. Right. That's what you do, right? You take the unit you were going to put on the Commanders to draft that defensive lineman and spread it over the players they might draft.
Yeah. Unfortunately, man, California, what are we doing? Like we want to raise some money for, you know, fixing a few of the problems here, like just open up the sports betting. Like I'm ready. Like, well, I will contribute to the gross domestic product of this great state. Like I'm ready to do it.
In interrupting Jeff Schwartz, I have now a German Shepherd who has decided to open the door and it's laying here, who's going to maybe interrupt the podcast. If you see me looking down or like being distracted, this is why. Matt, this is chaos doing work in this environment. It's the disregard for my job. Right. The door's open now. Got kids yelling in the background. Hopefully, you guys are not interrupted by any of that. All right, I think last thing, Matt.
Are we talking about him?
No, we're not. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give a rule. Um, we had the Matt Ryan rule. Gabe
Hmm.
and we just didn't talk about Matt Ryan. I think we had a Carson Wentz rule
Carson
too.
Wentz. Yep.
It's now Aaron Rodgers. It's done.
It's
We're
done.
never mentioning him again on the show.
Oh, that's so great.
Matt,
Oh, I'm so
what,
free. I feel
what,
so
what,
free.
what's the purpose? All he does is go on McAfee show each and every week and complain about life. Who wants that energy in their life? He just is a nonstop whiner. He's still talking about COVID 5 years later. He's just whining. Like he just it's a every week is a bitch fest about something terrible that happened to him at some point in his life, and I just it's exhausting and it's not entertaining. It's just not. It doesn't entertain me. There's nothing interesting about him going and be like, "Oh, the Jets cut me in a way I didn't like." Well, we all get cut in ways we don't like, buddy. That's the NFL. I never got cut in a way I liked. Who likes
Yeah,
being cut? Uh,
right.
and also
Yeah,
too, like, it doesn't make sense, right? So he gets cut in the first 20 seconds of this visit, but then spends another he says he spent 15 minutes talking to the coaching staff after he got cut. For what purpose?
right.
Have you been, I don't know if you've been fired before, Matt. I've been fired from a job. I don't spend 15 minutes after I've been fired sitting there talking to the person that fires me. Maybe I'm different in that manner, but like, it's just like, he had to fly to New York by himself. Oh my
On his
God.
own dime.
To
How
get
could
cut
he ever afford
his
it?
own dime. Like, oh, am I going to play? Am I not going to play? It's just like, it would be interesting if this wasn't the first time. But this is like the fourth year in a row of this retirement thing. The thing about retirement, Matt, is when you think you should retire, you should retire. You shouldn't play that extra year. He's done this for 3 years now,
Yeah.
or 2 years now, where he's still playing. And this is why I took Pittsburgh to draft a quarterback in the first round at plus 450. It's now like 250, 260, because Pittsburgh just doesn't have a choice. They have to draft a quarterback because Rodgers won't tell them anything. And if Rodgers wanted to be a Steeler, he would be a Steeler. It'd be that simple. So I even tweeted out that I find this discussion not interesting. And people are like, you tweet about it. That shows you're interested in it. No, it doesn't. What? Why? So I when I see a tweet going off, I just mute the conversation. It just doesn't show up at all.
Smart.
And I got a retweet. I got a quote tweet. So I went to look about 24 hours later, and it's just the worst blue check mark replies. Just the first 27 replies are just random people with blue check marks who think my take sucks. That's why.
Yeah. He is I have I think to yes and your take. I'm very happy to not talk about him again. Agree with everything you said. One thing that the thing that bothers, I think you and me both about him so much is Aaron Rodgers has lived a incredible life. He's
Yeah,
had an incredible career. He's had so many opportunities. He had millions of hardcore fans. For a while, he was my favorite quarterback. Like he had it. I think obviously Jaden's got it now, but like in your other quarterbacks you really love, like if Aaron Rodgers was on, I was happy. And I think a lot of people felt that way.
he's
But
great.
the thing that bothers me and you, I think, is how aggrieved he is. Like everything is this grievance, how it's been bad for him, how he would have done it differently, how much smarter he is than everybody else. Like you just don't get it. Like you're not me. I've had to do like stop. Like just stop. Like everybody goes through stuff in their life. He's had a really nice professional career. He's putting a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And I think the thing that people jump to defend him from is his right to be pissed off. And he has a right to be pissed off. We have a right not to care though. And I just think that it's so unattractive as a personality trait for your whole platform to just be like, I'm mad. Everyone's screwing me all the time. But it's obviously a big section of this country that thinks that that's a good way to communicate to people. So maybe we're wrong.
Well, yeah, clearly there's people that have made careers out of grievance politics. There's maybe
Uh-huh.
someone who's in charge of the country who said something yesterday about it. It's wild. Nonetheless, yeah, it's draining. It's just mentally draining, right? To always listen to someone talk about how they were wronged. And sometimes you're right. You do get wrong. But this situation, like, you got cut, bro. I don't
Yeah.
tell you.
You
Like,
sucked. You
and
won 5 games. Like you were
and like
terrible.
maybe you argued with Aaron Glenn, maybe you didn't. That's one thing too that it's always one-sided, right? We don't get to the other side because he knows the Jets aren't going to say anything.
Right.
So it's always just whatever he says is what happened. And it's never that case really ever, right? It's typically something in the middle. Um,
Can,
so yeah,
can
it's
I
just
also say if here's how it could have gone differently. Like let's take the phone call out of it. Let's just say that they invited him to New York and they talked to him for a while, and then like after an hour, Aaron Glenn is like, and so like unfortunately, Aaron, like it's been great to get to know you, but we have to go in a different direction. His whole complaint would have been like, well, they wasted my time. Like they could have
right.
just told me when I sat down. Like you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, he was gonna be pissed
Yeah.
off. He's
And I
embarrassed.
think
Like it's okay.
and I do think he's right to say or to feel like just cut me and get it over with. Like you should just called me and cut me and got it over with. And
Right.
he
And you would have
would
been
go to
pissed
New
off
York
about that too.
anyways. You would have gone to New York anyways to have to fill out paperwork when you get cut, essentially. But yeah, he would have complained about it. But so I get the point of like just saying, hey, you should just cut me over the phone and flown me out and have me sign the paperwork and go home. But
Maybe that's
man,
what they did. Like, I don't know if
just
I believe him. Like, if
always
they needed him in the building, they probably were just like, let's get this all done in one day. Like, I don't want him to drag this out and turn it into a whole thing. That's probably why they did it that way.
and I get why McAfee has him on every week. It's great for business. But if he didn't have that platform, we never hear from him.
Yeah. And I think everyone would be happier about it. It's like if he were still the MVP, we'd have to listen. But he's currently unemployed and he might retire. And even if he does come back, he would be the reason the Steelers didn't get to their 9 wins this year.
Who is the first podcast company to try to hire him?
I don't know if I can say this without it sounding mean. Someone will.
Well,
Assuredly, someone will, and I'm guessing it would be someone who shares his values.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's probably Outkick.
Yeah, probably.
First, that'd be my first take. Daily Wire, maybe. Like he's gonna have a podcast immediately. And like, good. Like, just retire and have your podcast.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, buddy. Anything else? Any new shows you've been watching lately? Any new podcast?
Show's been watching The
Oh,
Studio on Apple. That's a
White
good
Lotus.
show.
We disagree on White Lotus.
No, I mean, I have a White Lotus take, Jeff. It, White Lotus is not an important show. White Lotus is a fun show, but
Correct.
everyone's so fucking mad about like this happened and this didn't happen and it's who cares? It's a stupid show. Like it's not
I
like it
agree. It's
got
not
more
Game of Thrones.
scrutiny
Yeah,
than
it's not.
Severance or like Mad Men. Like it's treated like this such a prestige show. It's about a bunch of dickheads on vacation. Like
That's a
just
great take.
relax.
That's a great take. Um, it's a fantastic take. It just was like wasn't very good. It's okay. I
It
mean,
was fun.
it was fine. It
Like,
was
do
fine.
you need it to change your life?
No,
Like, everyone has like this huge expectation for it. Just enjoy it. It's fun. It's like
I
it's
think
just fun to look at.
I think since Game of Thrones ended, we've been craving that like internet show to watch together, which might
Yeah.
never happen again.
I mean,
Um,
Severance was great. Like,
I
there's
watched
plenty of other good shows
Righteous
out there.
Gemstones is not as good this season as other seasons, but it's still Righteous
That's a
Gemstones.
good one.
And the grind. Anything
The
beats that.
Rehearsal's coming back on Sunday. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Have you seen that?
No, I gotta add these to the list.
Okay. When you get home today, and I'm sure Sam, who's if he hasn't moved on to another task already, who's producing this, if he will not, as I say this, you have to watch the first episode of the first season of The Rehearsal. It will.
What
Gabe
what is it?
started. It's Nathan Fielder, who's like this. I would say like performance artist almost. Like he's like kind of in the Borat world of like very subversive, like playing with real life. Um, he, well,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
can't even
okay.
explain it. You have to watch the first episode of it, and it will,
So,
and tell me. Like we have to talk about it next week.
so is it like it's basically like so it's a docu comedy, like essentially like The Office idea.
But it's real. Like I will say that Nick Wright compared Russell Wilson to Nathan Fielder and called him the rehearsal because like Russell Wilson would get on the field and like practice his handshakes and like his high
Yes.
fives and it's that. It's like a guy who basically is like, what if you could rehearse everything you ever did in your life? Like, what would that look like?
I'm in. Okay.
It's
Do I save it for
unbelievable.
do I save it for when Meredith comes home tomorrow? Because she's not coming home today. Do I have to save it? Or what is it a guy's show?
It's but you would watch it again. This one episode of the first season is so unbelievable. You would watch it twice.
Okay. Um, I've been seeing I haven't added any new podcasts to my life in a while. Um, but for some reason Amy Poehler's podcast is being shoved down my throat on TikTok. It looks kind of good. I might add a podcast to my life. I don't
I
know.
love Amy Poehler.
I don't have time to add podcasts to my life. I don't know why. I wish I did. All right, Matt. Anything else? Do you want to
I
get
think
into
that's
our
it, man.
For tariff discussion, or we're going to skip that one for today?
Yeah, I think we've covered that on text. We'll be back on Tuesday for the extravaganza.
I'm so excited. Gabe will make an appearance. I think it's been a year. He hasn't made an
Yeah.
appearance in the last
He
one.
vowed and he vowed to pick the most silly sounding name for the first round. I doubt he'll venture off into a name he can't pronounce. So
Well, it's the defensive end from Boston College,
yeah.
right? I
Well,
think.
yeah, maybe he'll I thought we got to make sure he gets the Jets or the Chargers, one of the teams he pretends to like the Chargers, but he's still a Jets man.
Oh yeah, who's the draft for the Jets? I hope it's just another offensive lineman. Just every year he just drafts them lineman. Um,
Not a bad idea.
all right, buddy. I don't even know if we're on social media. I have no idea with the technical stuff. But if
We
you've been watching,
we are, yeah. No, we still are. I'm watching.
appreciate it. Oh, good. Okay, good. All right, I'll be North Carolina and Matt like 20 draft, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Again, I'll be in New York next week, Wednesday, Thursday. First things first, check it out with Nick and I think Brew will be back and with Wild. So a lot of fun draft coverage there. So it'll be good. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Talk to you guys next week. Peace.
See you, buddy.